Hi, this is LaKesha from Virgo Vibe. Today I'm going to answer the question, what do I do if I hate my job? Coming from experience, lots of experience. All right, so we've all had a job that we didn't care for or didn't like for whatever reason. It could be, you don't get along with the coworkers. It could be that it's just grueling work and you're miserable. It could be that your boss is a jerk. It could be that you're not getting enough hours. It could be that you don't feel appreciated. It could be lots of things. It could be a toxic work environment. It could just be something that you don't feel passionate about. For whatever reason that you hate your job, first identify why you hate your job. So, all those things I just named. So, if you hate your job because it's not something that you're passionate about, then your first step and option for anybody who hates their job is to look for another job. Don't quit. Don't quit on the spot because you hate your job. Um, you should definitely try to find another position, put some applications in other places to see if you can find something that you like better. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, if I go somewhere else, it'll be the same problem. And not with the passion thing, or as far as like the work environment. Some people think that if you go somewhere else, it's going to be the same issues and problems. And yes, sometimes that's true. Sometimes you can go to another job and it's a toxic work environment also. But you also need to kind of look at yourself. So I'm not saying that every work environment is perfect because there's never a perfect work environment. But there's also places that are really, really bad. And for those that are in those places that are really, really bad and it's just like ridiculous every day, and maybe you're crying in your car, you should definitely look for another job because everywhere is not that bad, okay? So, anyway, for those of you who, might be looking for another job, maybe try a different type of job if you're not liking what you are doing currently. So, for instance, if you are, working in a place and you don't like, your daily, maybe you should find a different type of job or career that you have more enjoyment in. Like if you're a cashier and you don't really want to do that anymore, or you work in a warehouse, then maybe you should switch over and be a driver, or maybe you should switch over and, go back to school. Like, there's a lot of things that you can do to change your career into something else. Think about what your hobbies are and maybe focus on that. What kind of careers could you have through that? And it does kind of help to focus on, even if you have to go to this job every day and you don't like it, if you're working towards a career goal, it makes it a little bit more tolerable to know that, in 2 years or 6 months, I'll have this certificate or degree and I'll be able to get out of here. And so you have a refocus. I just wanted to say that I know sometimes it's difficult to be at a place for a long time and feel like things are, you know, not getting better, and you get to the point where you just feel like you can't take it anymore. And I've definitely been there. And I understand. I've been there more than once in my life where it was just like, if I don't get out of here, I'm going to be out of my character. And you don't want it to get to that point. So definitely when you're starting to feel like, this is something that I need to change, start taking those steps for a new job or a new career by putting in applications or sending out your resume, or going back to school, or taking an online class or whatever you need to do, or training under someone. I mean, there's a lot of options out there depending on what kind of career that you're trying to move into. I also want to just say this one thing. I know that, everybody is not able to do a job where they love it so much and it's something that they're passionate about. But, we have responsibilities and we have things that we want to do in our lives and things that we have to take care of as adults. And so it may be difficult to still keep going on, but we have to. And we feel we have to. But, there's other ways to kind of soften that. Like, make sure that you're putting money to the side and saving it so that when it's time for you to make your transition from one job to another, or from one career to another, or whatever you decide to do, even if you decide to work from home, make sure that you put all those things into place so that it's an easier and softer transition, not just for you, but for anybody who may be affected by your job change. So the last thing that I wanted to mention about, being in a work environment that you may not necessarily be passionate about, it's really about focusing on, like I said, if you have decided that you want to change your career or get a new job, and you're focusing on that, keep your focus on that. Keep your focus on what you want, the positive thing that you see coming up soon, because it's going to come. Don't focus on how miserable you are, because you're just going to make yourself way more miserable. Focus on how you want things to be. Focus on how you want to change things. Focus on how you see yourself in the future. Focus on what kind of job that you want to have, and think about what it's going to be like to be in that position, or to work at that place, or to have that new career. And that'll kind of help you get through the day. You have to remember that, jobs are not a permanent thing that we put on, that we have to carry around. Jobs are interchangeable. We can change them to something else. We can change ourselves to something else. And we can make things easier for ourselves if we don't put a whole bunch of pressure that this is what I have to do forever. And I did that for a long time. I just felt like, sometimes you might go to school for something and then you find out you don't really like it when you get in the career, and you feel guilty about all the time you put in studying. Well, life is life. And I hate to say it like that, but it is. I mean, life is life. Like, that's something that just happens, and it's better to recognize that you need to make a change and go after that change than to sit in it and brew in it and feel miserable and wish and hope and nothing ever happens, and then another 10 years go by and you're like, 10 years ago and I felt like I should have did this. That's your intuition telling you that you need to start making some changes and movement in a direction that you need to go. So, when I said earlier that if you go to one job and you switch to another and you're kind of feeling like, well, it's going to be the same thing, you're looking for it. You're looking for it to be messed up there. And that kind of, makes me think that you need to look at yourself. Like, what are you focused on? Are you focused on, the negative, or are you focused on the positive? Because if you're looking for the rowdy, gossipy, uh, low vibration people at work, you're going to find them. They're at every job. And there's usually groups. There's groups of people who are usually positive and uplifting and happy, and there's people who are down in the dumps and have an attitude or say messed up stuff at every single job. So, maybe you need to even not even talk to anybody. And I'm not saying that you should cut yourself off, but, don't be in people's faces that are going to bring you down. And, if they come around you, you have to give yourself that pep talk. You have to continue to beef yourself up and tell yourself that, my future is not this job. My life is not this job. This is just a moment in time, and it's helping me to get closer to my dream. And that's it. And, when you leave that place and you go home, you have free time to redirect yourself to your life's purpose, to your passion, to what you want to do in your life. So don't waste that time when you get home. If you have the spare time, don't waste that time. Go and get your applications out there. Go and work on whatever your passion is. Go and work on your resume. Go and apply to school or take your classes. You have to have discipline, and you have to keep working at it, and you have to keep working at your attitude. If you wake up in the morning and you say, "Oh, this is going to be a horrible day and nothing ever goes right," well, that's exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get a horrible day and nothing's going to go right. But if you wake up in the morning and you're like, "Today is a beautiful day. This is going to be a great day for me. So many things are going to change and I'm moving forward, and everything is going to work out in my best interest," then that's what you're going to get. And I can't drill that into your head enough. It's really about perception, and how you see things is what you're going to get. If you expect the worst, that's what you're going to get. If you expect the best, that's what you're going to get. And I'm not trying to make it seem like life is perfect all the time. It's not. But it's really about how you perceive things, and how you see things is what you're going to receive. Law of attraction. So anyway, um, for anybody who hates their job, and I'll just tell you a little bit about my story. I worked at a place where I felt like I was working so many hours, overtime, and I hardly made any money. I only made enough money to cover my rent, and I didn't really even have money for food. But I was working crazy hours. And so, I don't know, my pay was really low. So I had to work overtime to get a decent check. And I had a child. So it was just very difficult at that time, and I just got so frustrated. And then, after a while, you start to feel like you're not appreciated at all, because, oh, she'll do it. Because you always say yes, and you always volunteer to do the overtime, then they just assume you don't have a life, and, give it to her. She'll do it. She'll fix it. But you're not getting any more money. And it wasn't, something I was passionate about. I was working at a convenience store. You know, I mean, when I was happy that I got the job, but after time went on, I didn't feel like this is what I'm here for. And so it kind of got like this cycle where you think, in 10 years, am I going to still be working here like this other lady who's like 40 or 50 years old, and watching, all these kids file through here and leave? And I didn't want that. And so I just got to the point where I was like, I'm out of here. I can't do this anymore. I thought I found another job, but it didn't work out. So then I got desperate. So just make sure that you have all your ducks in a row, because you don't want to get desperate. That's like the last thing you want to do. And you don't want to add more stress to yourself by making a change out of emotion and out of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? When you do something without thinking. Impulse. You don't want to be impulsive and quit your job and not think about how it's going to affect you, because being under stress is not going to make you're not going to make good decisions. You're not going to be able to help people and help yourself the way that you should, because you're going to feel the pressure of hurry up and get, and with things that are going on now, there are jobs out there, but it might not necessarily be exactly what you want, or it might not come in the time you want, because things are a lot slower in the process now of getting jobs. So I just want you to sit down, make a plan, save your money, and figure out what you want to do, and work towards that. And even if you feel like you gotta do it quicker than a 6 month certificate or whatever, just start working towards that and make a plan. That's like the most important. And having the money to make sure that everything is still taken care of, and you have this smooth. And even if you have to move like to another state, like, really don't close yourself off and just think, well, this will never change and this is all that there is, or people will be mad at me if I. None of that matters. What matters is your happiness. So, and hopefully you have somebody in your life who's supportive, who will tell you or co-sign on what I'm telling you now. So anyway, if you hate your job, then that is my advice to you of how you should handle that. Um, things did work out for me when I did move. I ended up moving to another place, and although it didn't work out for me in that new place, I did learn a lot and I did grow up a lot. And when I came back home, things dramatically got better for me. So it was just, part of my journey. And so I think that, my decision was good because I knew that I didn't want to stay there. And that's like the scariest part is saying no and then making the decision. But just make sure that you plan. And anyway, just to double back, it happened to me again, and I did plan. I did make sure that all my bills will be paid, and I paid off a lot of my debt and made my credit score go up super high. And I made sure that, it wouldn't affect anybody in my life that I'm doing this. Like, and it gave me enough of a bubble because of my savings to be able to pursue what I really love doing and have time to do it without the added on pressure of how I'm going to pay bills. So, anyway, I wish you guys all the best of luck. I hope that everything works out for you. And I know that if you follow your heart and you'll make the right decision, just make sure that make a plan and find somebody that's supportive to you to talk to about it. Okay, so this is LaKesha from Virgo Vibe answering the question, what do I do if I hate my job? I hope this helped you. Like this video if it did, or give me a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. And I'll see you in the next video. LaKesha, Virgo Vibe, out. And subscribe to the channel, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this.